Disc 11 is one of the most enigmatic and unsettling items in Minecraft, standing apart from the game, otherwise peaceful and blocky soundtrack. Unlike the other music discs composed by Daniel Rosenfeld, c. 418, Disc 11 does not present a melodic or harmonious tune. Instead, it is fragmented, distorted, and ominous, evoking feelings of fear, tension, and unease. Its construction is erratic. Broken beats, skipping audio, and faint, muffled sounds combine to create a sense of something being interrupted or corrupted. To many players, it feels less like music and more like a recording of a world falling apart, or a narrative told through sound in the absence of visuals. The disc immediately signals danger, mystery, and the unknown, making it one of the most psychologically potent items in Minecraft. The content of Disc 11 is sparse but haunting. The audio features heavy static, irregular percussion, and garbled noises reminiscent of footsteps, coughing, and distant shuffling, as if a person, or entity, is moving through an abandoned, claustrophobic space. Some portions suggest panic or distress, such as abrupt stops and scratches in the audio, which hint at a story without explicitly telling it. These elements collectively create a tension-filled atmosphere that contrasts sharply with the calm, ambient tracks found elsewhere in the game. Disc 11 feels like a glimpse into a world corrupted, an artifact of decay and fear that exists alongside Minecraft's serene landscapes. The ambiguity of the sounds invites interpretation. Is it a record of a lost player wandering underground? A capture of an unknown entity stalking through caves? Or simply a corrupted fragment of a soundscape intended to evoke unease? The disc leaves players unsettled precisely because it provides no clear answers. From a narrative standpoint, the disc has become a cornerstone of Minecraft creepypasta and urban legend culture. Abandoned mineshafts and underground horrors, suggesting that Disc 11 is evidence of something lurking in the dark spaces of the Minecraft world. The audio evokes the sensation of being pursued or trapped, and when played in-game, it amplifies the natural tension of exploring caves or strongholds. Rely on visual cues or player stories. Disc 11 communicates fear entirely through sound, proving that Minecraft can create horror in purely auditory form. Many players report that hearing the disc while exploring underground areas produces a chilling effect, enhancing the sense of vulnerability that is often absent in other parts of the game. The obscurity of the disc also contributes to its power. Disc 11 is obtained by defeating a creeper that has been killed by a skeleton, a relatively rare and somewhat random event, making the disc difficult to acquire. This rarity gives it an aura of mystique. Only certain players are chosen to experience its unsettling message, which fuels speculation, community stories, and theories. Some interpret the disc as a warning, a remnant of Minecraft's unexplained dangers, while others treat it as a form of environmental storytelling, hinting at a world beneath the surface with its own history of despair and decay. The fact that players must actively seek it out adds to the disc's mythic status, as encountering Disc 11 feels like a deliberate confrontation with the unknown rather than a passive discovery. Disc 11 has also inspired extensive analysis, fan theories, and reinterpretations. Listeners have dissected the audio frame by frame, identifying possible footsteps, crashes, and even faint breathing. Some speculate it represents a player being chased by a creeper or encountering a glitch or entity. Others approach it more abstractly, interpreting the irregular sounds as symbolic of Minecraft's procedural generation. The disc mirrors the randomness and unpredictability of the world itself, a sonic reflection of the game's hidden depth and potential for danger. Regardless of interpretation, Disc 11 demonstrates how a seemingly minor in-game object can transcend its mechanical function to become a cultural and psychological artifact, rich with mystery and communal storytelling potential. Finally, the emotional and aesthetic impact of Disc 11 cannot be overstated. Where most Minecraft music creates a sense of serenity, nostalgia, or curiosity, Disc 11 subverts these expectations, replacing calm with tension and safety with unease. It shows that even in a game often celebrated for creativity and lightheartedness, there exists the capacity for horror and the uncanny. The disc becomes more than music. It becomes a vessel for the unknown, a reminder that even simple, blocky worlds can contain shadows, mysteries, and elements of fear. By leaving its story untold and its sounds ambiguous, Disc 11 encourages players to project their own narratives onto it, making it a participatory piece of horror. Each listening experience is unique, and the fear it evokes is as much a product of the player's imagination as the audio itself. In conclusion, Disc 11 stands as one of Minecraft's most potent and enduring sources of unease. Through fragmented audio, ambiguous storytelling, and deliberate rarity, it transforms sound into a medium for psychological horror, enhances the tension of underground exploration, and invites endless speculation about what might be happening in the unseen corners of the Minecraft world. More than just a music disc, Disc 11 is a masterclass in minimalist, participatory horror, proving that even in a game of blocks and pixels, fear can be crafted through atmosphere, ambiguity, and imagination. It is a testament to the depth and versatility of Minecraft as a platform for both creativity and storytelling, and it continues to captivate and terrify players years after its creation. Disc 11 is not just unsettling because of its fragmented audio. It's unsettling because it feels like a recording of an event that went terribly wrong, a story told entirely through sound without words. Listening closely, one can interpret the disc as a narrative of a player, or entity, descending into a dangerous, underground world, gradually encountering a hostile presence and ultimately facing imminent danger. The narrative begins subtly. There are soft, irregular sounds that resemble footsteps echoing in a vast, empty space, suggesting exploration in a cave or abandoned mineshaft. The uneven rhythm implies caution or hesitation, perhaps the player realizing that they are not alone. These initial sounds set the stage for a psychological horror, the quiet dread of being watched in a space that should feel safe, yet feels increasingly threatening. As the disc progresses, fragments of crashing, scratching, and muffled noises appear, often overlapping in ways that feel like chaos or struggle. Some fans interpret these sounds as evidence of a confrontation with a hostile entity, possibly a creeper, as the disc's in-game acquisition method suggests, or even a supernatural presence such as the coughing or gagging noises embedded in the audio may represent a player in distress, running low on health, trapped, or suffocating in the tight confines of a mineshaft. This interpretation paints the disc as a first-person audio diary of a survival horror scenario. The player descends into the darkness, encounters danger, and documents, or inadvertently records, their final moments through the game's own audio. Interpreted through the lens of Minecraft urban legends, the fragmented sounds evoke the sensation of being followed, footsteps that are not the player's own, irregular noises that suggest an invisible observer. In this narrative, the disc functions as a warning. It is the residue of an encounter that went wrong, left behind in the world like a ghostly trace. The gaps and skips in the audio could even represent the presence of null or a corrupted area of the game world, where the fabric of reality itself has been damaged by a glitched or malevolent force. In this sense, the disc is not simply a sound. It is evidence of a world under stress, unstable, and haunted. Another theory links Disc 11 to Entity 303. The narrative could be one of sabotage. A player exploring deep underground is being hunted by a rogue, malicious agent capable of manipulating the world. The distorted, glitchy audio reflects panic, destruction, and the feeling of being out of control. The player may have been documenting their descent into the stronghold, unaware of the presence of a human-like threat. The fragmented nature of the recording mirrors the player's fragmented experience: confusion, fear, and the gradual collapse of safety and order. From this perspective, Disc 11 is a narrative of intrusion, human or otherwise, demonstrating that danger in Minecraft is not always environmental. It can also be deliberate, malevolent, and invasive. The disc's rare acquisition method, requiring a skeleton to kill a creeper, also plays into the narrative. It frames the recording as an artifact of conflict, something discovered only after an encounter has occurred. The listener is not present at the events themselves, but is instead a secondary witness, hearing the story from the remnants left behind. This makes Disc 11 a participatory narrative. It relies on imagination to fill in gaps, and each player constructs their own story around what the sounds signify. Is it a player trapped and dying underground? A hostile entity stalking a lone explorer? A corrupted fragment of the world itself reacting to the presence of a human? The disc gives hints but never confirms anything, allowing the horror to emerge from uncertainty. Taken together, a possible narrative of Disc 11 could be as follows. A lone player descends into a mineshaft or underground structure, exploring carefully while aware of unseen dangers. Footsteps echo ominously. Strange, corrupted noises begin to appear, possibly the result of null or the unstable nature of the world. The tension escalates with irregular crashes and coughing, as the player struggles against either environmental hazards or a pursuing agent. The sounds break and skip, reflecting panic, chaos, and eventual failure. Whether the player survives or succumbs to the unknown is left ambiguous. The disc itself is a haunting artifact, a sonic trace of events that were terrifying and unresolved, preserved for anyone who discovers it. Disc 11's brilliance lies in this ambiguity. Unlike most horror that explains itself, it provides an incomplete story, relying on auditory cues, silence, and distortion to suggest danger. It bridges the gap between ambient fear and narrative storytelling, linking seamlessly to the broader Minecraft mythos. In essence, Disc 11 is both a standalone horror experience and a connective tissue within Minecraft's folklore, encapsulating exploration, danger, and mystery in a single haunting record. It is not simply a music disc. It is a story, a warning, and a psychological artifact, preserved for players brave enough to listen.